So I just started recording. Let me know if you have any objections. I can stop the recording. Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm going to get started. My name is Venkata Kasturi, and I am the founder, builder of this Prepdude.com. I come with about 25 years of experience in multi-cloud like AWS, Azure, and currently on OCI. It's a multi-cloud journey. I've been a developer for a very long time, solution architect and whatnot. And for past 2.5 to 3 years, I've been building this, Prepdude, which delivers AI literacy and also a lot of cloud certifications and help in certifications. And recently we started this cohort session. I found people with similar interests. So we thought, let's start this cohort session and start delivering, AI literacy in the form of a cohort session that targets specifically on AI product engineer. So it's a popular job group in the market right now. So I just prepared this not to see, the primary focus is not to go over the slides. We want to deliver everything via either Google Colab or Jupyter notebooks or Marimo notebooks. Those are Python notebooks, but I just wanted to show you how the transition of AI, engineering stuff has been going on. So we started this journey. This is a first cohort session. So that's my introduction. Before we start anything, I would like to have just a round of introduction, just to set the expectations, know more about you. Anyone want to, Yuji, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hey, again, thanks for taking your weekend time to join. Hey, I'm Yuji. Again, I have been working in IT for about 20 years now. I started predominantly building data systems with database and everything, then went into building systems, integrating data from multiple places, and start building more and more of those analytical transactional data stores. And then I also ventured into analytics. So I started, putting dashboards and other analytical interfaces on top of the data systems. So that's when I was able to build end-to-end analytical systems. And then last, I would say 10 years, I started building more and more stuff in cloud. So I started with Azure. Then I worked with AWS. I am ex-AWS as well. But then also uh, started embracing more and more of these agentic AI systems for last 3 years. And right now, my goal is I am still learning in this space, but I'm learning more towards how to build these systems using open technologies, right? And not necessarily tied to any vendor or a platform, but make it more platform or technology agnostic. So that's where my background is. But yeah, thank you. I'll be one of the instructors of this course. We, as Venkata said, we don't want to like bore you to death with PowerPoints or go a very traditional course. This is a cohort, which means we all discuss, we build things together. We want you guys to build, give you the flexibility to build whatever you want. We will be there to guide you. If you do not have a particular use case that you're building on, we will provide you some real world, real industry use cases that you can build on, showcase on your LinkedIn, showcase on your profile. But before and definitely want to say, last 3 years, I would say, I was in job market couple of times. So what I've seen is I've been through a lot of AI interviews myself. Everybody now is asking for portfolio. When you go in, either they ask you they're no more going or probably if you go for contracting positions, maybe they just go core by technology what you know. But actually, if you are trying to get some advanced positions like senior, you can architect, or now you see more of this AI product engineer or forward deployed engineers, right? They are asking, what did you do, right? So they expect you to explain a situation, what was your contribution, how did you do things, not just asking, hey, what does the LLM mean or what does a RAG mean, right? They're actually asking, how did you build a trusted data foundation? How did you put a governed and a safe AI agent on top of it, and how did you productionize it? So they are actually going into the nuts and bolts or asking things. The second thing I want to say is, like, I have had a lot of people, like, even before submitting the resume, they were actually asking me for a link to my portfolio, which basically means show me the work that you have done, like in, like I said, like Venkata said, Google Colab, GitHub, whatever. They want to see your work actually. And again, like, not all positions, but if you really want to make a career in AI, if you want to go deep, if you want to go to those advanced positions, senior positions, yes, they expect you, because now, like, with the advent of agentic AI, with all these so many platforms around, it's not a rocket science to build a AI agent. I mean, I can go in and I can use ChatGPT to build a AI agent in 5 minutes today. But to put it in a real world use case, to put it in production, to support an enterprise, to support the, like, the data privacy and all these things, that is where the meat is, honestly. Like, that's what people are looking for. What will you do there? They're not looking for somebody to come and, like, build an AI agent and just, hook a RAG to it, or like, hook some tools to it, or build a flashy interface. No, they are not looking, because even ChatGPT or Claude can do that today, like with one prompt, honestly. So anyways, I don't want to bore, but yeah, I just wanted to let you know, like myself, I've experienced this a lot, and this is why I am teaming up with Venkata, because Venkata has been in this education industry for a long time. So I have teaming to say, I think we should do something that hits the ground, not just teach people or have courses on Udemy. We should actually work with them, sit with them, understand what they're trying to build, and help them build it, right? So we, after 6 weeks, we all walk away with good portfolios. I and Venkata might walk away with a good portfolio ourselves as well out of this thing. We might learn something too when we are discussing this, obviously. And because every day you see new frameworks coming, new LLMs coming, there's a lot to learn. But anyways, yeah, I open the floor to Meena or Malik. You guys can go ahead. But nice meeting you guys today.
Yeah, I can go next. Thank you so much for your introduction. And just to start with, I'm also from a similar background. I have been like a SQL Server DBA throughout my career. It's been like 28 years. Didn't
Uh,
try to venture into anything else. Like did little bit of analytics some time back, but I'm like, okay, this is like I don't know if I was like didn't want to come out of my comfort zone or something. Never ventured into something else and was not in job market for long, so maybe that's another reason. But now I'm thinking like I should upgrade myself with my kids being gone for the college and have a lot of time. So yeah, and I would say I just hear all these terms, but I have never even tried to look into a lot of these. So that's my introduction, and maybe looking forward to see where I can go with this cohort and see if I can get to know more. Yeah, I think I'm basically lazy and not trying to push myself and learn on my own. So that's one of the reason I'm looking for a group where I can start the journey.
Okay. Yeah, welcome,
Hi.
Meena. That's
no,
very good.
welcome, Meena.
Hello,
Thank you.
everyone. My name is Malik, and I have over 25 years of IT experience. I've been working predominantly in the program management space, managing large-scale programs for commercial and federal clients. Um, Working with a federal client right now, and I'm new to the AI space. I've been having a limited exposure to the various tools, ChatGPT and things like that. Done a little bit of prompting here and there, but looking forward to understanding what these concepts are and basically build a career in the AI space.
Awesome, Malik. Welcome. Welcome to Cohort.
Welcome, Malik.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me go ahead and start to give some introduction about this curriculum. We are calling it a 6 weeks curriculum, but we can make it a little more longer because we want to make sure you learn and you go in the market, you are able to market yourself with this skill. So don't stick to that word 6 weeks. It can be 8 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks, or we can extend it. And also we are open to meet in between the curriculum or in between the cohort sessions also. You can request for a one-on-one session. We can help you out with exercises and Building your LinkedIn portfolio will be part of that. And talking about the curriculum itself, so all that we are trying to do is to provide you experience in using AI tools, mostly open source. Let's not depend just on ChatGPT or just on Claude, right? There are a lot of things that we can use. There are open source like Olamas, LangChains, uh, you know, uh, Open Router, Open Code. There are so many of them, and not many people are aware. So that's what we want to bring out, all these portfolio projects that we build using open source tools, so that you don't have to spend a whole lot. Maybe you can use some open API, maybe doing all these exercises will cost you like $5. So probably you refill your open API account with the $5 credits and just done with doing the things that, most popular things using the open AI, but most of them will be Olamas and uh, open routers and open codes. Knowing about the curriculum or giving a background about the curriculum, we should have some knowledge of mathematics. Uh, you don't have to be an expert, general awareness of what is linear algebra or probability statistics, uh, and some terms in generative AI that we keep hearing, right? Greedy search, top K, and all those things. But we'll teach you what they are, at least to give you an understanding of what they are. We will get into RAG, which is a retrieval augmented generation, and MCP, vector search. There are several open source and also commercial tools like within RAG or vector spaces. We have Pinecone, ChromaDB, Deep Lake, Milvus, similar tools. We'll pick some of them and do our experimentation. And you might have heard of MCP, Model Context Protocol. There are a lot of Model Context Protocol tools out there. We can build our own MCPs. And the most recent ones that are coming out is agent development kits like ADK. So we want to go around ADK using either Google ADK or maybe Claude is the latest ADK that came out. We can play with it, build our portfolios, build Hugging Face spaces. A Hugging Face space is something it's becoming very popular for anyone to showcase their projects. So you build a project, you deploy onto Hugging Face spaces where you are given a compute free of cost for some time, wherein you can showcase that to your employers. So these are some of the tools that we can use. The other things that you learn is a prompt engineering. So what are the types of prompt engineerings? Zero shot, few shot, chain of thought, and going more advanced into context engineering, which is a combination of not just prompt engineering, but also taking care of everything around it, like the memory, efficiency, optimizations, everything into. So you will learn about prompt engineering, context engineering. You'll also learn about evaluations, which is very, very important. Which model to choose and why and how. That is something that we want you to learn. And of course, as we go more into agentic frameworks, even before going there, you can learn about fine-tuning, grounding, what are the terms mean and how do we get there, because I myself built a lot of tools during doing fine-tuning, but there are some things that you may not be able to do with the limited compute that you have, like distillations. But we have to learn what is a distillation, what is a fine-tuning, what are the differences between those, and eventually into multi-agent frameworks, how to build agents, what are multi-agent frameworks, using different models like diffusion models or so as we go on, there's a lot you can learn. We are trying to bring whatever is coming into the market into the curriculum and trying to make sure how best we can deliver to cohorts. We learn, you learn, and let's all build together. So some of the core technical tool chains that we may be using. I don't know if you're aware of Cursor, which is acquired by SpaceX or Elon Musk for 60 billion. That's one good editor. Or you can use Visual Studio Code. That is also a very good editor. It has a lot of open plugins or extensions. We'll also be delivering most of our curriculum using the Google Colab, which is a Jupyter notebook, but it's a Google product. We found it to be very easy, useful, and you don't need to buy an additional computer because you can enable compute on those notebooks. So you can run some of those GPU intensive, TPU intensive workloads on those notebooks. And that's how the outside development goes, whether you take Databricks or you take any development like Snowflake, they also use the notebooks. So you're getting exposure to how to use these notebooks, enable CPUs, TPUs, and run your code. So, and some of the core libraries would be LangChains, LangGraphs, Llama Index, scikit-learns, TensorFlow, PyTorch. These are the some of the tools that you should be aware as a someone doing AI engineering. So we'll learn about them, and API backends like Fast API, REST endpoints using Python and TypeScript, Node.js. These are some things that we will just dabble to understand how they work together. So this is all about the curriculum and the basics. I have the curriculum in front of me. You can go into the site, look at it. And I want Yuji he will cover more of the tools and how the delivery will be. He'll give you a sneak peek into how we want to deliver the course. And you need to learn, we'll make sure that you learn all the things that go on with all the LLMs, right? Hallucination, bias, and how to avoid these things. And also we want to use some of the, show you guys or teach you guys how to use no-code, low-code tools. There are a lot of them, every day those things come up, but we can choose some of the best tools that are there in the market that can help you to build your workflows without writing a whole lot of code. And these things are not just for showcasing, right? These things should help you day in, day out with your own tasks, making your own life easy and also help out in your organization. How to automate some of the manual things that you spend hours doing, you can automate them. I did a lot of them in my workplace, and I'm an automation expert. So anything that has to be automated, entire organization, it's like a large organization with 28,000 people, but they set up consulting with me for how to automate some of the stuff. So, and my experience of automation. So I can teach you guys how to do this. So this is all about the course curriculum and how we'll deliver. You guys, any questions, queries before I hand over to Yuji to showcase the delivery?
No, I'm good.
Oh, thanks, Malik. Yeah. Yeah, Meena, any questions? Do you have any questions? We will go slow. We don't want to hurry. That's why I said 6 weeks can be 8 weeks.
Yeah, no, I'm good. And I'm just wondering, like, you're recording this and it will be available for me to go through today sometime, offline, right? Okay. And is it okay if I drop off now?
Yeah. Go ahead. That's all right. Thanks for taking time. I know weekends is, we thought about it, that, we should do this in weekdays.
Yeah, I'm so sorry about it, but yeah, I really impressed, and thank you so much for taking out the time. I'm definitely looking forward to join the cohort. Yeah, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much.
Sure, Meena. Thank you so much.
Yeah, bye. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day. Bye.
Yeah, Yuji, do you want to?
Yeah.
What we'll do is next week also we'll do one more, but weekdays I want to connect with Malik and discuss his time and see how we go about studying of this curriculum. But we can end this call soon after Yuji, after you go the things.
Okay. No, definitely. Thanks, Venkat. So again, I think one of the things I wish Meena stayed a little longer because I wanted to like this one thing she mentioned, comfort zone, right? That is especially the thing that we have to beat all the time. So and the reason being, I mean, again, if you look at our profile, right, like we have worked so much. We have worked like more than 2 decades in this industry, right? And we all have built a certain comfort zone around ourselves. Like I have built a uh, certain zone around myself. Hey, I'm working with databases. I was working with data systems and everything, right? Going into AI is a big challenge. Same thing, Malik, with you, right? Like you've been doing a lot of project and program management your life. You probably could like, and then somebody coming from that background, it is like whatever Venkat said right in his call, like a lot of technologies that are involved. Like you might say, okay, I don't know how can I learn these 100 technologies, but so so yeah, it is confusing. I mean, that's why a lot of times I mean, I myself have done this. Like I tend to join so many um, working sessions, right? Like I see, like I usually what I do, like whenever somebody like any, like let's say Databricks has a working session today, like 2 hours, they give me a sandbox and lab. I go and I do stuff, right? But most of us do those things sometimes, but halfway through, or even sometimes we lose interest in doing that thing because at some point it starts flying over your head, and then you say, okay, I'm not going to do this. And obviously, like you have your own work thing to go over, right? So getting out of comfort zone is the first main thing. We have to challenge ourselves. Like we have to get out of it. The second thing I want to reiterate is that we don't we all come from different backgrounds. Like Mali, you come from programming background. Venkata comes from like a development and then an automation background. I come from an analytics and data management background. Meena, she was there, like she comes from DBA. All of us are coming from different backgrounds. Not all of us are aspiring to become AI engineers immediately, right? It's not that we are throwing away our life of expertise and doing it. What I mean, yeah, some people might want to pivot also. Like say some people will say, hey, I want to like become a AI engineer. So that's good enough. That's a good thing too. I mean, if you want to pivot, if you can really put that effort to do it, that's awesome. But in all our careers, right, we can still embrace AI and do things more in easy and optimized way what we are already doing. Like if you are doing program management or project management, right? There are and I keep forgetting this tool, like where it's a completely AI powered project management tool, like where you define a goal and then it backtracks and starts putting all the elements together. It does the timelines and everything. And then you work with the agent. Let's say if certain product feature changed for you, what move you will typically go into Microsoft project or if you're doing Scrum technology, Scrum, you're doing Jira, right? So you go back, you adjust all the time boxes, you adjust all the steps, right? It actually goes and it adjusts intelligently everything. It kind of starts coordinating. So I'm just saying, like in every field there is something, right? If somebody's coming from a DBA background, if they cannot say, oh, I don't know where AI will help me. AI will definitely help, right? Because when you're planning your upgrades, when you're planning your DR, right? AI, you can actually build agents that can actually go and figure out what is your DR strategy. Like hey, you can say, I have my application which is running on a certain web server. I have these load balancers. I have like beneath that, I have these databases. It's plugging into. It is it is routing to. It is reaching out to APIs to pull some data, and it is sending data downstream and all these things, right? And you want to build a DR strategy. Your agent can actually go build it, and you can actually have the agent strategize the DR strategy. You can actually have agent build the scripts. You can have it build automation. So all I'm saying is like at every walk of life today, there is AI involved. I also know of a story of a cardiologist who I know well, who actually he was having a lot of people who post surgery, like patients were calling and was flooding his nurses helpline and his work. The cardiologist, he built himself an AI agent, and he basically he put a ton of post-op material in that, and then he made it to a chat agent, and he advises patients to say, hey, once your surgery is done, once you go home, if you have any questions, first go to this one, because this is not like a regular chat GPT giving everything from the web, right? Like it can also tell, like if you find a mole on your her toe, it will say it could be cancer, honestly. So it's not that, but it's curated. It is from his own experience that he has curated the material, and he's basically enabled this conversational agent where somebody can go, and that he was telling that cut down his calls by 85%.
Wow.
Which is amazing. He being a cardiologist, I mean, he being earning like in the top earners, he did it himself. So that's what I'm saying. AI, we should all embrace AI in all walks of life. But okay, so all that apart, right now, coming to the course itself, right? I mean, there are a lot of things that, like I talked about, or Venkata talked about, it, how we do things. But we will go in a very slow-paced manner. Like we will crawl, we'll walk, and then we'll run. And if you look at the sessions also, right? Can you scroll up Venkat a little bit? The second one. So we today, whatever, like we are starting with the introduction, right? But then the session 2, we are now telling you how to build these agents without any coding at all, right? So this is amazing, right? Because this is something, but this is more for like a small scale or for personal use, right? And that's where we started. We want you to start again. The tagline is embrace AI, right? Don't get terrified by saying, once you see, let's say I can show you like a huge script and say, oh, I'm using this LangChain framework to build my agents, or I'm using all these, as Venkata said, some of them I'm using Fast MCP to build my MCP servers. I'm using Fast API to build my APIs, or I'm using some LLM evaluation frameworks to build evaluations. I mean, once you, and this is where I think people get lost, because you go into some of these work webinars or working sessions or Udemy courses, and once they start showing you all this bulk code, people lose interest, and they have like, like even if you look at Udemy stats, right, more than almost like 75% people leave the course after 25% of completion. That is exactly what Udemy stats are today. Because you start a course and by 25%, I mean, it should strike you. Otherwise, you are never going to continue it. Because when you open a Udemy course, you see, oh, this course is for 10 hours. You think 10 hours is so nothing, right? I can sit in the morning and do. I bet it will take you more than a month to do the 10 hours course, because it's not that easy. Because the thing is, like, we have a very short attention span with everything going around. So anyways, what I'm trying to say here is, we will first let you crawl. We are coming and saying, hey, let's build like a website today. Like, let's say, and again, it need not be what our use case, right, Malik? It could be your use case. You could say, yeah, I wanted to build this website that could help in my IRA planning, like with my 401k planning, all right? Or I could want to do something where my if somebody I know is going for college, I want to be like a college planner for them. Or I want to pursue MBA. How do I pursue writing my GMAT? Anything, right? You can go and use some of these agents to do that. You can build your sites. You can build your conversation assistants that will help you do this. You can build, like, you can based on your, let's say you're learning something. If you have already have notes, you can build your flashcards. You can build games around it. Like, there's so many things you can do. And this is what we'll get you first into, to do those things, right? Like, kind of like I always give this analogy, like with my kids, right? Like, when they start coding today, like even like a first grader is going into doing that the block based coding, right? They pull blocks in and they do it, which is good, because because we are not teaching them coding, right? We are actually teaching them to think. Think, what does a loop mean? Think, what does a decision mean? And this is exactly what we will teach you in the second session here. Like, think about the strategy. Don't worry about how you will do it. Think about what do you want to do? What is your goal to do, right? That is the most important thing. And then we will show you, okay, now to achieve that, right? Like, what do you need? Like, if you want to build a conversation assistant, yes, we know of a framework. We know of like a platform that can do it. Or if you want to build something that needs a little bit of code, yes, there are coding platforms that will actually build the code for you, right? So,
Yes.
and that can also deploy. And then we will go a little bit of actually building it, a little bit nuts and bolts kind of a thing, right? now now instead of like building your IKEA furniture as how they said to build, now you're actually carving your own plans. Now you're carving your own architecture, right? Like, you have, like, I mean, so that's where we want to go a little bit beyond, to like start building those agents using some of these frameworks. And then how can you put all the elements of an agent around it, right? And this is where, like, Venkata was showing about a context engineering. And now we'll also expose you to harness engineering. So, right, those are all the concepts of like, what are the elements you need to put around an AI agent so you can make it work. And this is When you reach the third session, this is exactly what companies are looking for. Companies are looking for somebody who has done this. Like, hey, what kind of frameworks did you use? Why did you choose a certain framework versus other framework? Or you chose to put this memory attached to your agent. Why did you choose like hot memory versus cold memory, right? Or why is your memory in a certain index store? Those are the kind of things we'll teach. Again, like as and how we are teaching this, right? If you say, oh, I know you're going very, very deep into uh, like uh, bu- uh, like building these vectorized index stores, right? You might say, I don't want all that. I don't want to learn beyond this thing because I don't think I will be using, but I want to still connect a knowledge base. Then we can pivot and we can show you a better way. Okay, instead of you working on taking a document, extracting the content, chunking it, vectorizing it so that a semantic search can be done, we can actually show a direct knowledge base where you can just ingest your PDFs and it will out and you can just plug into it and learn. So that's what I'm saying. We have to make it a composable architecture of like what you want, right? You can, or you might say, I want to really, really go deep into MCP servers because I really want to build these MCP platforms. And in the back end, I want to expose all my APIs that can give information about my project and anything. Yes, we can go as much deep as you want or as much shallow as you need. And this is the whole point of a cohort, right? Because we are not going by a prescribed, we are still telling you the elements that will teach you, but we are not telling you the depth of where will you go. Wherever you want to stay at 100, we'll let you stay 100. Where you want to go 200, we'll do that. And Malik, you might want to go 200 in MCP, but maybe somebody else, Meena, might say, I just want to understand what MCP and just build an MCP client to connect to them. That's good enough because you both of you need not do the same thing, right? You can do 200 level, somebody can do 100 level, but we will still support both of you use cases because ultimately the portfolio that you build should be something that you can explain, you are comfortable with. So and then like going into like then we are going into a little bit beyond of like, okay, now I built an agent, now it's all good. How do I sell this to my company, right? The only way you can sell it to your organization if you want them to have it or have other business units or anything, right? Like you say you work in federal, you're saying you if you build it for an agency and then if you want other agencies to imbibe the same, then basically you have to make it trustworthy.
That's good.
You have to put the harness around it. You have to put guardrails around it. And so we will teach you how to do all this stuff. How can you put governance around it? How can you better control an AI agent, right? Because obviously, like if you're building it for federal, and federal is one of the more controlled spaces, they literally will not let you put any of their information, even if it's like a CUI, right? Even it's unclassified information that's controlled, they do not want you to send it over to, let's say, like a chat GPT server. They do not want you to send it over to some Claude. Then they might expect you to say, hey, can you bring model to our servers? That is what Venkata was also explaining, like Olama, right? Or curating some of the models as he was explaining, right? Like you have a base model, like you can go with an OpenAI model, and then you curate it accordingly how you need, and then you actually work with a local copy of it in your own on-prem, and then your client will be comfortable. Okay, yes, to this on-prem because this is a hardened server. This is a server I trust. I can send my data to this server. So that's where I'm saying, like, as and how you go deeper into this, right? Like, this is where actually companies will start, and organization agencies will start embracing this stuff. And then, like, and now that you have already built this trusted foundation, right? It's working good. I mean, again, every system, as you know, Malik, like it is never done, right? Like you put it in it, but you have to consistently keep optimizing it because your factors change. You'll have more data coming into the system, more users logging in. And then you say, okay, now, because especially in AI, right? Like in the agentic AI, tokens are a big cost. Like initially, you might budget in your manager in your plan and say, okay, I have these 1,000 users. I have like this ton of documentation. I'm plugging into like a Claude LLM, and you project and say, okay, this is the cost of X amount of dollars that will cost this for running this agent for a month or a year, right? But after a year, what if your application becomes popular and your users grow 10x? Then you come out of it, right? Then people don't want to, if you said, okay, it's going to cost you $1,000 a month, but with 10x, they don't want you to spend $10,000. right? So because that is where like you have to optimize it. You'll come back and say, okay, let me fine tune things. Let me fine tune the way how I'm getting information from my knowledge bases. Like, so there again, like so many things we'll teach you here. Like when you go and search these 1,000 documents, right? You don't need to load all the 1,000 documents in memory to be able to make that agent work. You can say, I'll still search for 1,000 documents, but I'll only take the top five, or I'll do a vector keyword search, or I'll do like a more one of the popular search closest neighbor or closest neighbor navigable search, right? So there you'll say, instead of now pulling like sending a 10,000 tokens to my LLM or with all this, I'm only going to send like the most important 500 tokens. So that's where you need to optimize. Then you can also say, I don't need to, like, you obviously like when somebody needs to for somebody to check for like a sick patient, you always don't run to a specialist, right? You go to a, like the lower end PCP, or you go to like a virtual doctor, right? Similar thing. Like you don't now, maybe you put in a very strong model because you thought, okay, that model will solve all my use cases, right? But maybe over the period of time you might realize, I don't even need such a strong model, such an advanced model. I can actually make do with small models. Or Venkata talked about orchestration, right? Multi-agent before. Like you can have, instead of like having one big agent work together, you can have a series of small agents doing the same task, right? So instead of like spending like $1,000 per agent to work, you can actually have 10 agents that each of them only work at like maybe $20. And now instead of spending 1,000, you're spending 200, but you still have these coordination of agents, right? And that's what we will teach in this course, how to do that. And again, like if multi-agent is not your not your use case, you can say, okay, yep, I want to learn on multi-agent, because when you go into interviews or when you are trying to make and sell a product, you might say, like, I still need to know about it, right? If a client asks, hey, instead of this, can you do a multi-agent architecture at my place? You should not put a blank face saying, oh, I don't know what a multi-agent is. You should still learn. So at a minimum, you should learn all these concepts that we are showing you at a minimum of 100 to 200 level. But for some of the things where you have your expertise in, like if you are a security specialist, or if you are a data architect specialist, right? Or if you're more of a data scientist, then you go 400 levels into those, some of the things. And then and then in the end, we will all have our applications together. And as Venkata said, it can take 5 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks. We don't care. Like even if it takes 8 weeks, our goal is to finish your cohort specific to you only if you have a portfolio, because your win is our win, right? Obviously you have portfolio, you have a workable product that you have built that you can showcase. Only then we'll say, yep, now you're done with this. You can continue with our additional cohorts, you can continue building on it, and we'll always are available to what you do. I and Venkata, we are local to DMV area. So yeah, we are almost like we can meet you guys anytime. That's not a problem. But again, just wanted to let you know, we will let you crawl, we'll let you walk, we'll let you run if you want to run. But end of the day, you need to have a finished product with yourself that you can proudly showcase. Sorry, Malik, I've been rambling a lot. But so Malik, does it seem to be like what you're expecting? And again, we definitely want to learn more about what is your goal out of this cohort, right? It could be anything. It could be knowledge. It could be building this thing. It could be, or I have this awesome product in my mind. I want to build this. I want to patent it. It could be anything. Like there is no boundaries to what you want to do with this cohort.
Sure. So for me, it's twofold. One is the knowledge in terms of what's happening and staying current with the trends so that I'm not kind of left behind. And then the second thing is to do a career switch or a career augmentation, if you will. Because the traditional roles are all high and dry now. There are like very few remaining, and that too, it's dictated by external parameters that you don't have control over. A lot of action and traction is happening in the AI space. So that's where I want to kind of take some of my skills laterally and then use the knowledge base to get plugged into the market, job market, if you will.
That's awesome.
So that is the primary objective and goal. So to support that objective, whatever depth and breadth I have to go, I'll be willing to go there.
Right. There's also one aspect that I wanted to cover earlier, I should have, while Meena was here, I'm going towards getting this, cloud partner network, right? So all that, what that means to us is we can teach expertise on the Anthropic cloud. So Anthropic cloud is widely used, as you are already aware. They've been releasing left and right all the models, capabilities. It's the number one. Even government feared and tried to stop them with the Mythos and Fable 5, right? So we want to, teach in 1 or 2 sessions about subagents, MCP, hooks, plugins, how to do the checkpoints, optimization, token optimizations, and memory, setting up the cloud, the best way to work for your computer. There are a lot of plugins and skills that you can put. So these are the topics that we want to also deliver as part of the cohort and help you certify yourself for the cloud certified architect, which is becoming very popular. You don't have to be a programmer. All that you need to know is how to use all the capabilities that come as part of cloud. Slash commands or slash hooks or slash plugins. There are so many things like agents or sub-agents. So we want to, deliver that expertise so that you can go for that certification, which I wanted to cover while Meena was here. So,
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, cloud certification is, I mean, I'm seeing a lot of traction. I do have other certifications, like I did my AWS Gen AI professional certification before I did. So I think what I'm seeing with cloud certification is getting a lot of traction in the market now. And it is still in early adoption, which is good because now one thing is like with the certification, I'm not saying like certifications will get you any jobs, right? So because I myself have done so many certifications in the past, like, but they will get your resume in the door, definitely. Because if people are looking for if people are looking to build like AI agents, right? And the most popular one is Claude today, Claude or OpenAI, right? Claude is very popular. And if you have that certification and the varying levels, you can do foundation and then you can do the advanced one. So that is one of the big things like we can definitely help support in this cohort is like and again, like we are not teaching anything different that the certification doesn't want. We are basically teaching what is a part of the certification. But as and how, if you're interested, right, like, yeah, we will provide a way how you can register for the certification, how you can go through the curriculum, and you can, as and how you should do that in parallel actually with this thing. Because if we teach you today about MCP servers and everything, in the cloud certification there is modules that will tell you about MCPs. But again, like, it is more geared towards how you can build these using cloud. And I mean, like, again, like, so I mean, every certification, right, like they base, like AWS bases its own tools. Every certification has its own technologies that they back on. But what I'm trying to say is, like, instead of just dry reading that, oh, what is MCP, how cloud support MCP, if you, let's say in this today's cohort, we teach about MCP, we make you build an MCP server and everything, you can immediately relate and say, okay, yep, I can build this in cloud as well. Or if you have cloud subscription, you can actually bring that to cohort and say, hey, instead of using open API keys, I want to use my cloud keys. You're more than welcome. Instead of using Google Colab, as Venkata said, I want to use Cursor. You're more welcome. Or if anything, right, like you are not stymied by the technologies that we are proposing here. We are showing you the most commonly used technologies. But if you have certain thing that you want to do, I think you should go for it. And that's all everything coming out of a comfort space, right? And also, rightly, as you said, Malik, like with all these traditional roles disappearing, and that is why you hear a lot of technology companies cutting down roles. It's not that they're cutting down roles because they think those roles are not right. It is they're reinventing those roles, like they are transforming those roles, right? So basically, instead of, if you are doing project management all the way through years, and if there is certain salary pay scale that you're doing, now they actually want you to be able to plan the same thing using AI. And they are saying, okay, instead of you doing 100% manual work, right? You should only do 25-30% where you are putting strategy. The rest 70% should be an AI agent working through your tasks. I said like there is, I keep forgetting the tool name. Maybe Venkata can remember, but there's this tool like where you can give a goal, and I did that actually. It goes purely by, I think it's Kanban based tool.
Okay.
I don't know like what the tool name is.
Asana or
Asana, no, I'll post it if I remember. But I actually use the tool where you can say, hey, I want to build this AI agent, and it actually went in and it built actually all those swim lanes. It built the timelines and everything, saying, okay, this is what it is. It actually, and then as at how you change a certain task, if you say, well, in this epic or in this issue or task, I want to change this task. It actually goes and reorders them and does a bunch of things. So it's actually a really good one. Should do that in one of these sessions. But yeah, I mean, again, like we are all up for it, as and how you want to disrupt, as and how you want to get out of a comfort zone doing things, Malik. We are all with you. And again, the other thing I said, right, like even though we are probably at a level where we can teach, we can tell people, like we can guide them. But if you look at a year or a couple of years back, we were all at the same stage. But even today, we are not saying, oh, we reached this stage and we're stopping, right? Like Venkata, he keeps building stuff all the way. Like I know he's working on a bunch of apps that he's working on himself. I myself, I'm looking at things like what I want to build, right? Like every day I'm learning about, like every time you open, I learn about some news. Today, a new agent came in, or today, a new harness framework came in. So you want to go and experiment it immediately and say, okay, and because it might be a good one and bad one. Out of 100 things I try, I only want to work on two things, let's say, because all the 98 might not work for my use case at all. So, anyways, yeah, I want to leave it there and just basically make sure that yeah, we should learn together. And maybe while teaching this, you might come and say, hey, I want to learn more about how to put like a security framework around it. Can you build a security agent? Maybe that's something I never did it before. So I can learn with you. Because I will research your security frameworks, and you will learn and I will learn, and that's something I can add to my existing portfolio and say now I can build security frameworks.
Okay.
yeah. And don't be scared. We want to guide you setting up how you know, like crawling, how you set up your Python environment, what are the best tools that are out there. So for example, there is something called pip that helps you to install. Now there is a new one called UV. So which is better? Which one can we leverage? These things will help you to bring up your own development environment. You know, go slow with how you set up the whole thing. So when you are a project manager and looking at developers doing something, you know what they are doing. You can understand, you can suggest, you can recommend them, you know, guide them. So it's not just like you go become a AI product engineer, but you can enhance your superpowers by
Yep,
knowing all these
that's
things.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the big things I'm seeing today. Because now, if you want to go and apply for some director or a manager or a VP roles, right? They are not, maybe 20 years back, traditionally a VP would just be like somebody out of MBA school. They come, they only know how to manage. Today, like I think my manager knows, my director knows, my VP also. Like I was speaking to a VP, and he actually knows about agentic AI. Like I cannot say something
You
and just
cannot
be
block.
like, I cannot just bluff or BS my way out of it and saying, oh yeah, you have to build this, do this. They will always have a question come back to you and say, okay, I know you're thinking about this, why not this? They know,
Yeah.
they are reading. They are doing the same thing what we are doing every day. They are going to internet, they are reading articles. They probably have more curated access to some of the material, like they have access to Gartner. They have so many vendors reaching to them every day for demos, right?
Demos.
So they know a whole lot of things, because every event, and they sit in demos, like they go for 30-minute demos, and they learn from 20 different vendors about the same concept. And you and me are learning from like one cohort or one this thing, right? So that's what I'm saying. Like and especially as like a Venkata said, as a product manager, as you, right? If you are working through a certain project, right? And if your AI engineer comes and says, "Oh, if you want me to build this thing, it'll take me 1 week to stand up MCP server." You should be able to validate and say, "No, it should not," because you know, hey,
Couple of hours.
in your this thing, you know, this is how you want to do. Yes, you can use this. I mean, that will give a lot of, like, you will get a lot of confidence how you will execute projects. That will give your team some kind of a sense that, okay, they cannot give unreasonable timelines, right? So again, and that's what I'm saying, like, we have to embrace AI to do this. AI is double-edged sword. I mean, the reason I'm telling you is, like, we think that it's making us lose jobs. We think that it is because some of us, with especially who have more than 2 decades in career, we are being obsolete. But if we embrace it, I think there's nothing more than
I
that.
think
Because
that
once
starts
you
there.
start embracing it, you will be so much empowered. And that's what I tell so many people, like, who come, who have mentors today. But I'm just saying, like, embrace it. All there is embrace. Because I'm pretty sure, like, what coding skills I have, like, if you have a college graduate get out, they might do 10 times better coding than us.
Yeah,
Today
definitely.
they are already, because we learned from, like, almost like what, mainframe, Fortran, and so many things, right? And every time we learn, like, we have that we have that friction to learn. And we obviously, I mean, you cannot go into very deep into this, but these kids are coming out with awesome Python skills, all these
Mm,
and everything. They can do 10 times better than what we do today. But why would somebody pay us today, right? They will pay us for our strategy. They will pay us for our advisory capabilities, because they can employ so many of these high, like, college graduates coming out, right? And they can do wonders. They can build like AI code. Like, I have a high schooler who can just go blindly into Claude, and they can spin up their own agents today. A high
that's
schooler I'm talking. I'm not here talking about college graduates. So
Oh,
if they can do, it's not that. But where they fall flat is, they can build all this stuff, but they cannot do those 400, 300 level things of saying, how do you optimize it now? Okay, you went and built this agent. How do you optimize it? How do you make it secure? How do you make sure that your information doesn't leak out? That is where I think our expertise comes in between. And obviously, second thing is, you have domain expertise. Like, if you've been working with, like, a certain agency for a long time, or certain industry, nothing can replace that. Because when a college grad is coming and saying, hey, I can build this AI agent for you. Let's say if you are working for certain agency like DoD, right? You can say, okay, does your AI agent pass DISA, right? DISA standards. Does your agent pass the DoD framework? Because you know about the framework better than that person would not know. And I'm not saying they would not do a good job. They'll still do a good job. But you are basically strategizing how you should execute it. That is
hmm.
where I think all of us have to reinvent ourselves to go into those roles.
you're
Because
right.
that will never get replaced. But if we are to the point, like, if I'm just doing database upgrade, if I'm just building ETL jobs, or if I'm just planning a project in Microsoft project, all of our jobs are going to be replaced. There's
Fair
no
enough.
doubt about it. I'm telling you. I mean, it's not to scare people.
Yeah,
It is what
that's
it
a
is. Like,
reality.
it is a reality, right? If you're seeing layoffs, like, Microsoft is laying off 20K, Amazon laid off 30K, Meta laid off 30K. Like, you see the numbers. In the last 1 year, we lost 150K tech jobs.
Sure.
That is exactly what it is. Basically, they're telling you, okay, all the while today, we paid you like high bucks to build this code for us. I don't need you to do that anymore. But I need people who can
Yeah.
actually go in, give that advisory, and say, tell someone what you're building is right or wrong. They need the decision makers. They need somebody on that level, right? You can get so many people to code today, even coding agents to do that. But I have seen that in coding, and when you start coding, right, your coding agents will do a job, but it can also put unwanted code, right?
Yeah.
Like a very simple code as hello world. If somebody has to do hello world, right, you can actually write it in like simple one Python word,
Mm,
or you can have an AI agent build 1,000 code saying, okay,
yeah.
now I want to put this bells and whistles and just to do hello world. You don't want that. So that's the whole thing. Like, you should be at that level where your advisory consulting roles. You should not be the one actually saying that, okay, today or tomorrow I want to pivot and actually start learning how to build this uh, in Python, and that's my life. No, that's not your life. You are basically telling that when somebody is building that, how are you going to govern it? How are you going to put all those other factors around it? But anyways, I just wanted to let know that we have to reinvent ourselves to different roles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a place for us, even today or 20 years later. But we have to reinvent. Things are not the same what happened from 20 decades ago, right? Like, if somebody is still having a role of building a ETL job today, then that job will go away.
Yeah.
There's no
So there
doubt
are,
about it.
yeah. So there are two important points I want to elaborate that UG brought up. One is AI is not going to eliminate jobs. It's going to eliminate job categories. So every category has certain
It's true.
tasks, and those tasks have been automated or enhanced using AI. So job categories are going to be eliminated, but new categories are going to be built, created. That's what I was showing earlier. One, the market growth, how it's going to look like in, let's say, by 2030, right? This is what I've been researching with Notebook LLM. This is one of the very popular tools, and going over AI product engineer. This is what it looks like by 2030.
Okay.
That's about more than half a trillion uh, growth.
Sure.
And the second thing I want to bring out is the tech debt. If we are writing code, we generate tech debt, which can be handled in other 1 or 2 sprints after we do it, right? But when AI generates code, that tech debt never ends. It creates so much of technical debt that you will have to continuously. That's why you need to know how to set up environments, how agentic AI works, how the coding tools work, how it generates. And that's the reason why you need to learn all these things. These are the two important points that UG brought and just wanted to elaborate more on it.
Sure.
So this is a good session. So if you have any questions, concerns, let us know, Malik. I'll also talk to you. We can have something in the weekday, go over this. We want to set up one more next Saturday, right, UG, based on your
Yeah,
availability.
yeah, we'll do one of the weekends. We'll do that. Yeah, and then Malik, yeah, we can work with a weekday. Like, I think we should get started. I mean, we don't want delay. We'll definitely get started this week only. And depending on like, let's coordinate on a weeknight, and then yeah, we'll actually go and like start to go more into like um, the topics in the cohort itself, and then we'll start actually building products as well as in how we go. And maybe another thing is like maybe in the first couple of sessions also you might not have you might still have inhibitions on okay, what portfolio should I build and everything. That's okay, because as and how you build it, right, as and how you are building these things in, you will get a very fair idea of like, okay, this is the kind of portfolio I want to build. But the end goal is you have to either build a portfolio or you have to show an app or like something that's very tangible that you can that somebody can use and benefit out of it.
Sure.
um,
Yeah. So I'm going
Anything,
to
yeah.
share this recording to Meena and everybody who could not attend this intro session. So yeah. Sorry, Yuji.
No, what I was trying to say, like, I also want Malik to like kind of reflect on what did he feel about like the our method, right? Like how we want to go ahead, and then also Malik, please let us know, uh, um, like what I mean is like, how do you want to proceed, right? Like, okay, like I mean, you want to do things in a certain way. Please let us know, because you are standing on the ground and you want to learn, right? Everybody who joins this cohort will have very similar goal or a mindset coming into this, saying like, I mean, none of us want to. We have time is very scarce for us, all of us. We don't want to waste an hour just learning about something dry and go away with it. Everything we learn, yes, it has to have an impact of why we learned for that hour also, right? So but yeah, I mean, definitely, like, you can reflect on your thoughts. Let us know what you think about this thing, either now or maybe like either like a later session, but let us know, please.
Sure. No, definitely. I think, see, one thing is I'll rely on your expertise because you've been there, you've done it, you know how to also impart the knowledge, right? So I will be relying on that. Whatever you've explained in terms of the methodology, that makes total sense to me. Like you said, initially I might have a little bit of a challenge to figure out what kind of a portfolio to build, but we start somewhere and then eventually in 1 or 2 sessions, something might
Yep.
evolve eventually. So that's what it is. And then
Yeah.
from my side, coming out of the comfort zone is a commitment that I am willing to make, and that's what I'll do.
No, that's awesome. Actually, yeah, that's all we need from you. Get out of your
Exactly.
comfort zone, and if you're able to
That's
put
it.
that effort, that's all we need from you. Honestly, at this point. Okay, Venkata, then I think we can wrap it up if there's nothing else. But definitely, Malik, yeah, we can meet again later.
Sure.
We can definitely start hit the ground right and actually start working and building things. Yes.
Definitely. Thank you for taking the time today. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
Thank you so
No,
much.
definitely. Thanks,
Thank
Malik,
you.
and
Thank
thanks,
you, Easy.
Venkata.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Okay. See you. Bye.
Take care.